and thank you for joining me. Apologize for the so very quickly we'll look through what had transpired August 2024. For the funding rates, surprisingly or against expectation, funding rates dropped significantly. Please, can you see the next slide? Funding rates dropped significantly by funding rates dropped on the overnight rate and the open repo rate, and that was likely to improve system liquidity at the close of the week on Friday. What supported those improved liquidity was the FGN coupon payments that were made, close to about roughly in excess of 300 million that was paid as coupon, and then we saw the maturities from from the NCB, which was around 409 billion, that was rolled over. But unfortunately, at the auction, the CBN could not sell as much as what was on offer, which was also what another factor supported the improved system liquidity we saw at the close of the week. So at the close of the week, we saw that liquidity closed at over 1 trillion naira. So those are major factors. That was a main factor that supported the auction in the funding rates. And quickly, the Treasury bills market. The Treasury bills market closed on the notes. That wasn't surprising considering what the primary market auction did on its day. At the auction, we saw that the 409 billion was on offer. What of it was on offer? Subscription was over 1 trillion. But as against the norm, we saw that the CBN only sold roughly around 300 billion, and that's because we saw a reduction in the stop rates. On the 91 day, the stop rates reduced from 18.5 to 18.2. On the 182 day, we saw stop reducing or drop rather from 19.5 to 19.2. While on the 364-day bill, we saw a reduction from 21.889 to 20.9, which is roughly about 99 basis decline from the previous auction. Those factors accumulated into what transpired in the secondary markets, where a number of investors who out on their bids close to over 700 billion worth of auction, were not met at the auction. So we saw that demand trickle down to the second market, thereby making the secondary market to close on a bullish note. And at the auction, like I rightly mentioned, I've touched on that. Go to the next slide so we can look at what transpired in the bonds market. Okay, for the bonds market, saw similar sentiments played out, where improved demand was also supported by liquidity improvements, and also the auction result. There was also a bond auction on Monday, where I think that was roughly about 300 billion was on offer, and this was also way less than the amount on offer. So we saw that the action at the activity at the primary market also filtered down to the secondary markets, where we saw a number of investors also trying to meet up their unmet bids at the auction. All the activities coupled with improved system liquidity further supported the sentiments we saw at the end of the week at the bond segment. And for the foreign exchange market, the foreign exchange market is still battling a whole lot of would I say imbalance yet? It's not so balanced. We can still see some volatility in the FX rates. However, at the close of the week last, we saw that Naira appreciated slightly to close at 1,560 from 1,574. It closed the previous week. We hope that whatever effort is put into place by the government can be sustained over time, so that we can have a continued improvement in our foreign exchange markets. And what our expectation for this week? We expect the sentiments witnessed in the last week would be sustained this week, and the back of improved liquidity that has persisted in the system. Like I said at the beginning of the presentation, market liquidity is still way over ₦1 trillion. So we believe that that volume money in the system would significantly impact activities in both the money market and the fixed income market. And very quickly to our various products, one thing is clear. I think one thing that is very clear is that CBN is already sending the signal into the market. Rate cuts might be imminent, or we might begin to see a reduction in rate across both the bonds market and also in the treasury bills market, just as we saw at the last up that took place last week. So where does our clients need to position? This is actually the right time for them to position, because as an average investor, as a capitalist, the motive of everyone is to get the best return on our investments. And now that rates still remain elevated, this is the best time for us to key into the various opportunities we have for our various products. I'm sure a number of our clients are aware of this, but we've gone a step forward to actually showcase what the products, how the products are fared, what is our projection for the rest of the year. So for our our lead fixed income fund, we have the annualized yield on that fund is currently on 24.77. So that means if you invest in the fund, you are exposed to you are positioned to benefiting from this elevated yield of 24.77 annualized. And if you compare this with what other competitors in the market are doing, you would see that this fund is actually part of the top 5 fixed income fund in the market. So it's an opportunity for you to key into this. You know, those 50,000, 100,000, 10,000 you have either in your bank account. You know, you can put them to use by investing in this various fund, and then you will enjoy the benefit of the elevated rate and yields currently the talk of the market. And for our lead balance fund, we have the current annualized yield of 18.23. And you know that this fund has a mixture of both the equities market and of equities and fixed instruments. So that means as the fixed income the fixed income market is doing so well, you are positioned to benefiting from it. And likewise, whatever is happening in the stock market, you're also positioned to enjoy the dividend as well. And for our lead dollar fixed income fund, our current yield is roughly around 14 points. I think in excess of 14%, which I think is a very impressive one for a fund that began just barely a year ago. You know, you have those FX and you're looking at what can I do with these funds. This is a very good opportunity for you to put funds into good use. With this, we've come to the end of the fixed income presentation. This is a call on all of our clients. You know, the market is encouraging that this is the best time for you to key into the opportunities that we have in the market. Hope that you would not cease or you would not sit back and watch the opportunity go away. So thank you very much. I don't know if my colleague is now ready to quickly run us through the activities at the equities market before we go to the question and answer.
Notice that. Hello.
We can hear you.
Can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Sam, for the presentation. And the equities markets, last week it was a bearish outing for the all-share index, because we observed that out of three days out of the 5 trading section, closed in red zone, and the bearish bias sustained due to the activities in Dangote Cement. We've always been emphasizing that Dangote Cement still remain the most capitalized stock in our market. It lost 10% at the close of the business of the day. So, and that actually puts all share index down to 95,973.45 basis points from the previous last week of 97,100. In terms of year-to-date performance, ASI lost 0.16%, and our year-to-date return currently stood at 20.35%. And then looking at the activities in terms of turnover, we also observed that 5.6 billion, 33 billion naira traded. And if you compare that to what happened in the previous week, we market to add 2.033 billion shares worth 42 billion. And then financial service industry still corner most of the activities volume and the value, because they also 0.98 billion worth of unit worth of shares, and the total value that stood at about 17.88%. And then we also observed that in terms of contribution, financial service also contributed 88.22% to the equity volume, and then to the value about 5.10%, about 54.09%. By the time you look at major activities under our coverage, that's the indices, observe that NDS banking, at least for a very first time the last 2 weeks, also gained 0.37%. We saw buy interest in GTB, FBN Holdings, United Bank for Africa, Stanbic, Access Bank also moved, Fidelity Bank also moved up, and then the NGS oil and gas also did 3.54%. I think that was the highest across the major indices, about 3.54%. In terms of looking at what actually responsible for that, we saw activities at Oando, Seplat, and then Total Energy, even in Japan, because these are the companies that are fall on view of ONGS oil and gas, and we're also anticipating more because of some of this information has been released to the market in terms of a long-term strategy of Oando acquisition of the national oil company. So we expect that to also drive that index. And then for the NDS Industrial, it's also lost 4.94%. I talked about the Dangote Cement. There are other companies under that index that also lost. Muscava Portland Cement lost, Footies and Berger Paint. And if other ones, they also closed flat. So that was the reason why NDS Industrial also lost. And the NGS Insurance also gained. We saw more buy interest in Sovereign Insurance, Linkage Assurance, Cornerstone, Prestige, Master Insurance, a few other companies. So looking at today performance, we are 28.35%. And then our week-to-day performance, we lost, the market lost 1.16%. And then in terms of the quarter today, we are minus 4.0%. So can we go to the next slide? That was what actually transpired in the area of the activities and the volume and volume. And then we are still maintaining our price cost card for some of this bank recapitalization. Access Bank have closed their offer, and the price on Friday, and the price has moved up to 19.95%. We are justified with our recommendation that people that buy from the market, they can do that. Fidelity Bank had closed as well. GTB had closed. FCMB is still ongoing. For those who are also interested, you can still fill your form and send it. Zenith Bank is also closing September 9th, both right issue and public offering. The price is still very good, 36 naira for the right issue and then 36 naira 50 kobo. And the stock is currently trading 37 naira and 90 kobo. I think you can still take leverage on the right issue and the public offering to also enjoy some price discounts. So we are still maintaining on our buy recommendation on FCMB and the Zenith Bank. We're also going to discuss more as companies in the banking industry comes out to raise money, either public offering or right issue or private placement. Of course, we'll give those informations to the house. Next slide, please. And then this slide is okay. Next slide. Okay, this slide is just to give us an overview of expected interim dividends, because we are already in the half year. We have seen results coming into the market, and it is important for us to also extract some of the companies that have been able to sustain interim dividends. Every kobo is down to the investor. When you get interim dividends on your investment, by the time you add that to your final dividends, at least it's also going to increase your dividend yield. In terms of the company being able to examine their 3 years in terms of interim dividends, they have been able to sustain it. We have Access Bank, we have GTB, we have Fidelity Bank, we have Stanbic Bank, Stanbic IBTC, UB, we have Zenith Bank, Presco, Okomu, Total Energy, and Seplat. And then from the 2024 half-year performance, Okomu, they have been able to justify their action in terms of growing interim dividends. In 2021, they paid 7 naira. 2022, they also paid 9 naira. In 2023, they paid 4 naira 50 kobo. But they compensated investor at the end of financial of 2023 by paying 18 naira. Why for the 2024 half year, they had also paid 8 naira, and that has been adjusted. So the other companies were also expecting their interim dividends. We are encouraging all our value investors to take advantage. We have Access Bank, 2021, the 5 kobo, 22, 30 kobo, 23, 50 kobo. With their performance and expected growth rate we have seen in their first quarter result, we're also expecting that they should be able to do 60 kobo half year of 2024. GTB should be able to do 80 kobo. Fidelity Bank should be able to do 30 kobo because it has also come under the company's second tier bank that are also paying dividends. Stanbic IBT, we're also expecting 2 naira 50 kobo, UBA 70 kobo, Zenith Bank 80 kobo. Presco has not paid, but we're expecting them to also do something higher than what they did last year. We're expecting something like 7 naira. And the total, we're also expecting them to also pay something this time around because we've seen their Q1 perform very superlative. And the same thing, Seplat. Seplat had also declared their own. By the time you convert the 3 cents to the naira, that's close to almost 15 naira. So what we're just saying is that as apart the Okomu and Seplat, the other companies that are still available, this is the time for people to take position. By the time we begin to see results coming into the market, you see a lot of people taking position. And then the price these companies are currently trading, you may not have that such opportunity again. So we encourage you, these companies that are they've sustained their interim dividend in the last year, in the last 3 years, there's opportunity to invest in. If you look at all these 10 companies, they also form part of our stock recommendation, oil and gas, in the banking, and then in agriculture. So we encourage you to take that advantage. So next slide, please. In terms of our weekly recommendation, because of time, we have also made some adjustment to our recommendations for the week. So if we look at our recommendation for the buy recommendation, we have 1 to number 19, their buy recommendation. You see Access Bank price has now gone up to 95 kobo. Over time, you may not see some of this current price because they are still trading below valuation. And we have seen value drivers actually improve the prices of some of these companies. So 1 to 19 is part of our recommendation, and then 20 to 29 is our old recommendation, while 30 to 32 is also our sell recommendation. So corn oil, Dangote sugar, and Etana oil are also part of our sell recommendation because they're also trading above the valuation price. So we encourage you to take advantage of this. And this has been sent out by our research unit. You have various options across major indices, the consumer, industrial, and a few other indices you can take. You can buy, take advantage of some of those companies that have sustained their performance in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Next slide, please. In terms of our expectations for the week, last week activities in the fixed income market, such as we saw federal government of India coming to the market to come at least 500 bonds, and the treasury bill auction also took place last week. And these are the things that actually brought down the price or an AI in the last week. So that activity still continues in the market. So we expect to really move funds from the equities market to that fixed income market of the capital market. And we also anticipate that the equities market will trade sideways with bearish tendency. So because of the fund movement, people still want advantage of some of these instruments in the fixed income. And that is likely to impact, it's likely to reduce the impact or bring down the performance of OASI index within the week. So within the week, ASI index, all share index is likely to decline. And then investor will concentrate carefully across tickers. We anticipate continuous upspring. So investors are still trying to be careful. Some of them will also watch the movements in fixed income and the equities market. But what is very important is the recommendation. And then in the interim, we anticipate some good deals on stock that have shared in their SAR pricing. Investors will also take advantage of the tickers that have also declined. So people took advantage of as it was 18 naira, 17 Naira, and other companies that are under various indices. So that will continue to take place in the market. So market still presents opportunity, and then new entrants and people that also want to reduce their average cost of holding. But at the close of the market, we expect markets to close on a bearish trend. But don't also forget that Oando Japan, because of some of the corporate development we have seen in terms of expansion, there's tendency for those companies to rally around within the week. But at the end of the week, the rally point around some of those security may not be sufficient enough to really drive the ASR index to the positive zone. But let's take advantage of the valuation and those recommendations. So thank you. We have come to the question and answer time. So the floor is open for question and answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, so once again, we'd like to apologize for the delay in commencing the session for this morning. It was due to circumstances that were beyond our control. We apologize once again for that. Because of our time, we will be unable to take any questions this morning. But if you have, we can see from the questions I can see here, I think more of them are just speaking to us. There are more of inquiries. Are you participating in FGN domestic bonds offer? How do we participate? Okay, please, for questions or for clarifications on how to participate in the FGN domestic bond issuance, you can just send a mail to our customer service unit, and they will be on the standby to provide guidance and assistance as required. Thank you so much for taking out the time to join us this morning for our session, and we wish each and every one of you a wonderful week ahead. Thank you.